Back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Weeknights. We are back, and a new week has begun, and there are some very interesting things to discuss. So, let's get it started. I'm JD, aka He Who Pods, glasses on, so also rear view mirror.
And I'm Dash, aka Dashing D, aka the real king of R&B.
I mean, after today, you might really could be the king of R&B.
And my album is coming soon.
Oh, album. Oh, but you're not saying on the 12th today.
Well, it is.
Yeah,
It
but
is
today's the
coming out.
12th.
No, I understand that. And I hope everyone else understands that too.
Oh shit.
Today
Okay.
is, in fact, the 12th. So do with that what you will.
Mhm.
Go pre order on Spotify.
Oh yeah. Hmm. Absolutely.
Did you know
Pre-save. Pre-save.
pre save? Did you know you can pre save audiobooks too?
I did not. That's interesting.
So I'm really excited about this book that's coming out this week. And
You got it
uh,
pre-saved.
I pre-saved it. I went to check to see if everything was locked and loaded
Hmm.
for the release, and then I was like, "Wait, you can I can save this so that I can get an alert when it actually comes out."
That's fine.
I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, I am gonna go and buy the physical book um, because black girls. I want to support them, but women, but yeah, but I've found recently that certain books I'm like, okay, I'll get through this a lot faster, not because it's bad or anything, but I'll get through this a lot faster if I do an audiobook. So I'll probably start the audiobook before I even make it to the bookstore. That's why I'm like, okay, you know
Yep.
but
Totally with you.
really really excited about that coming out. And well, I didn't say what it was, but it's Kennedy Ryan has a new book coming out, so it's the third in her Skyland series. So I was like, I got to do this. But anyway, I digress. I just wanted to. I didn't know if everybody knew that they could pre-save their audiobooks. So I figured I should drop that
No,
gem.
that was good. That was good.
Yeah. Um. So please pre-save my album. I know that we have someone who you might not want to pre-save after hearing what we have to discuss.
So we're
Unfortunately.
all right. So where we starting? Golden Globes? Or you want to start
Oh,
with the nastiness?
let's not start with nastiness, honestly. Let's start with the Golden Globes. That's an interesting topic.
All right, take it away.
Well, the Golden Globes is getting into the podcast game.
Yes, sir.
They have announced that there will be a podcast category in the upcoming Golden Globes,
Mm-hmm.
the 2026 Golden Globe Awards to be exact.
Right.
And it will be Best Podcast of the Year.
Mm.
Apparently, they have identified 25 podcasts that are in the running for the nomination. And of that 25, I think they're going to narrow it down to six.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
don't
that
have,
sounds about right.
yeah, I don't have the number in front of me right now, but they're going to narrow it down to six, and then those will be just like anything else. Those will be the
The
nominees, and
nominees.
then
Yep.
there will be one that is selected uh, the day of the awards or the week of, because certain categories don't make it to air. So
Television, right? Yep.
yeah, so I'm quoting a comedian slash podcaster, Bert Kreischer, who says this is what the industry needs: recognition that podcasting is storytelling. It's not just noise, it's a craft.
I dig that. That's a great quote.
It is a great quote. And by the way, he is the host of Bertcast and Two Bears, One Cave. I have no idea what those podcasts are about. So I just full disclosure, I don't want anybody to go try to listen to it and they hear something controversial or something
Right.
that
Or it
they wouldn't
sucks.
normally support. So or it
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just want to because there are plenty of podcasts out there that have topics that we would never support or have viewpoints that we would never support. So I want to make sure y'all know I'm just reading from a Variety article. I don't know who this man is. And maybe
Right.
I should, I don't know, but y'all will tell me.
Hmm.
Um so yeah, it says it's a list of the most popular podcasts, some of the notable podcasts, well, they're all notable,
Hmm.
but some of the podcasts listed are um the Carlson Show,
Yep.
the Megyn Kelly Show,
Okay.
the Joe Rogan Experience,
Knew that was coming.
Call Her Daddy,
Yep. Okay. I see
Good
what I
Hang
see.
with Amy Poehler,
Hmm.
which is new to the game. So, snaps for them for making it on the first round of um, top podcasts. I'm sure that's not an accident though. Um, what else do we have here? And those are the big ones that are noted here.
Hmm.
But basically, what people are saying is that we don't really know how they're getting to the six.
Right. We don't know the requirements that they're going to use. There's
Yeah,
a better word. Criteria.
criteria. Yeah, we don't know. And when you
Right.
go from Call Her Daddy and Joe Rogan to Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly, you've got and that's just four. I'm sure there's a bunch more
Right.
different genres. It becomes a little hairy because now what you're trying to do, which other award shows have done, smaller award shows have done, but what you're trying to do is put the entire podcast industry into one category.
To one just little container.
Meanwhile, the Golden Globes is broken out in a very specific way. I feel like for podcasting, you have to break it out kind of like music, where it would be by genre or
But that's how all the award shows are by genre. So I was trying not to cut you off, but I think it's really weird that the only thing they're doing is best podcast. Because it is exciting on one hand that they're recognizing and awarding podcasting, but on the other side, it's like, but you just put everybody in one category, and I don't understand why when you don't really do that.
right.
So,
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a little frustrated with. Excuse me. I think if it has to be, I
well,
think if you're
actually,
gonna
they
do
do best
podcasts,
film, right?
hmm?
I said actually they do best film, right?
Right? And I think when it comes to like movies specifically, is the Golden Globes, yeah. When it comes to movies specifically, I don't think it gets broken out by genre. I think it gets broken out by best actress, best supporting. Um, some of it does. I shouldn't say all of it, but some of it does. Like they'll say, best so and so in a drama or whatever. But I feel like they don't break out the genres too much because they can't.
I understand what you're saying.
I think with podcasting though, especially if it's going to be described, and I know this wasn't the Golden Globes, this was a podcaster who said this, but especially if you're going to try to identify it as a storytelling genre in and of itself, you have to allow for there to be flexibility. Like, there's tons of podcasts about tons of different topics. You could create a whole show, excuse me, not a show, but you could create a whole awards system for just podcasting, and you'd have more than enough to choose from.
I agree.
Which I'm sure there's someone out there in the world working on that. It just hasn't happened yet. We've seen it a little bit in other award shows where they'll kind of stick a podcast category in there, kind
Yeah.
of doing the same thing. I know that the Webby Awards has podcasting is included in that.
Mm.
So I see the direction we're going in. I'm just thinking to myself, I don't know, guys. First of all, how y'all get into the six? Because are y'all just gonna pick your favorites? Like, are y'all just gonna pick Tucker and Joe and Amy because it's Tucker, Joe, and Amy? And listen, all of it comes down to a popularity contest anyway. I understand that, but I just feel
Yeah.
like there's so much missed opportunity
Right.
with the extensive catalog of podcasts if you
Yeah,
just
definitely.
single out the top guys.
Yeah, and is it, if it's best podcast, then criteria matters, right? Because what identifies it as the best, quote unquote? Because it's easy to say most popular and go by numbers, you know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
the best, what exactly makes it the best? So it's a weird situation. Like I said, on one hand, I think it's exciting that they're awarding and nodding to podcasting, um, acknowledging podcasting. But then on the other hand, it's like this is a little weird to just throw everybody in one pot.
It
They're
is.
making podcast gumbo.
And it's still new, so that's to be expected, I think, to some degree. I just, as a podcaster, it's like, okay, this is in no way going to be a balanced um display of the podcast talent out there. And I guess that's the case for everything, right? Like,
Mhm.
people get, even with music, people get handpicked as
Right.
like the artists that are gonna go toe to toe. So I guess if we're thinking about it in that way, it's pretty similar. But also, the last thing I wanted to point out was you were saying, how does it get defined? But also, how does a podcast itself get defined? Because it's Tucker. I don't know anything about it, and I don't know if you do, but is Tucker Carlson's show something that passes over to the podcast side, or does it start as is it an actual podcast? I gotta look that up. Because because for example, the Breakfast Club, something that I'm a lot more familiar with, is a radio show.
Right.
The Rich Eisen show, which I probably shouldn't even mention here, is a radio show,
Right.
and it passes over to podcast.
Yeah.
So it doesn't. Never mind. I'll stop speaking now because
No, I think you were making a great point. There are some shows. No, I think that's a great point. There are some shows that are on major networks, on radio stations, that are also being acknowledged as podcasts. It's like kind of cheating in a sense. And so I think that's a great question. I think there's a lot of questions to ask here. And I think what's exciting is that this exists, right? Because
of
it's the
course,
first award show of its caliber to acknowledge podcasting and award podcasting. So that part is exciting. And I
yeah,
don't want to be dismissive of that because it
yeah,
means that it's possible that in a couple years we could have a bunch of categories getting Golden Globe podcasts, or there could be an entire Golden Globe podcast show, like you said. So it could be, the Golden Globe podcast awards are the next day or something like that.
or the
So
Emmys. The Emmys do what is it, daytime, and then they do like all of the primetime stuff is separate, is two separate
right, there you
awards
go. So
events. So maybe
right,
there's opportunity
and
for
then we'll
that.
be seeing y'all at the Golden Globes. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, I'll be there with my gown on.
Live from the red carpet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to dismiss the excitement that I feel personally about this, because I think it is
Yeah.
important to share that this is happening, but also to say, like, it's just starting. Let's give it some time to see how they do. This first award is probably going to be trash. They're going to pick a favorite, like you said. I totally agree with that. But let's
It's
look
gonna be
at the
Joe Rogan.
opportunity. What do you say?
It's gonna be Joe Rogan or Amy Poehler.
I didn't want to say no names, but yeah, I totally think they got a fave five like T-Mobile used to. You know what I'm saying?
It's not gonna be Tucker and Megan because they're too polarizing. Like they're gonna be like I feel like they're gonna be nominated, but they're not gonna actually win the award.
I mean,
'Cause-
Rogan is like the face of podcasting today. So,
right?
and maybe not today. Maybe today that's on the decline. Maybe, but it's probably gonna be Rogan.
Yeah, I say Rogan or Amy Poehler as an upset, like where people are like, "Oh my gosh, how did Rogan not get it?" I
Right.
think that would be
Well, and that's the other thing,
yeah,
right? When there's only one award, there's going to be a lot of how did so and so not get it, which is
of
why
course.
they should probably let us know what the criteria is, because that would be helpful and probably produce less of that questioning. But whatever. My point
Yeah.
was that it's exciting. It presents a lot of new opportunities. And last thing I'll say on this topic is it's a copycat game out here. So perhaps because the Golden Globes are sparking it, other big award shows, quote unquote,
Yeah.
big, quote unquote, prestigious award shows will say, hey, you
Hmm.
know what? You saw what these guys are doing? Maybe we should be doing that too.
Yeah. Agree. I just realized something. I know we're moving on to the next topic, but I just realized something. I'd like to change the program for today,
Okay, go ahead.
if you don't mind.
Do your thing.
Well,
Take it
one
away.
of us went to Metlife Stadium last week.
Oh, yeah. One of
We
us
both,
did.
we both forgot during pre-pod, so it
I
just
just,
occurred.
you're right.
It just occurred to me. So you know what? We will table our other topics for today,
Oh, so this is it. All right, let's do it.
so that we could get the full Kendrick Lamar SZA Grand National Tour review. I'm going to put you on the spot. I was not the one who went, although I did get my merch, which I'm very happy about. Um,
Mhm.
guys, the merch is online. It's online.
Right. You don't have to go to get the merch.
But I did get it from the concert. So,
Me and I'll share a funny story before we even get to the concert.
mm,
This weekend, after already going to the concert, I was out with my daughter and some friends.
mm-hmm,
We went to see Thunderbolts,
mm-hmm.
and we're going up the escalator. And on right next to us, someone coming down the escalator. What do they have on? The exact piece of merch I bought for my daughter. I said, "Hey,
Mm-hmm.
hey, you see that? See what they got on right there?" And me and the person kind of gave each other a little nod. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's
So
funny.
yeah. She's like, "Oh yeah, that's my shirt, right?" Yes, your shirt. Yes. Yes, 15-year-old. It is your shirt.
And if I
Yes.
know the one, it actually made its debut on the Breakfast Club the other day.
Oh, yeah?
Charlemagne
No,
was
you can
wearing
say it.
it.
I don't care. I got her the one that says, I, Ladybug, SZA.
Charlemagne was wearing it on the Breakfast Club the other day.
That's interesting. I'm going to leave that there. Um, so,
Did you? Here's my first question, because stuff happens and MetLife is hard to get to, and we all know that. Did you see the entire show? Let's start there.
so I got there. Doors opened at 7. I got there maybe 7:10. And by the time I was inside,
Okay.
is maybe 7:20.
Okay.
Uh, it was pouring raining at that time. I went on Thursday. I don't know what happened on Friday.
We got to
Um,
talk about Friday also, but I'm gonna let you talk about. your experience on Thursday, and then I have some things to say to Kendrick Lamar about Friday.
Maybe you know some. I don't know.
Well, I'm tapped in. Okay. When the algorithm is doing what it's supposed to do, well, I don't know if it's supposed to do that. I don't know how I ended up on Concert Talk. But when the algorithm is doing what it does, I'm tapped in. So I'm tapped into how the Friday show went. And I would like to share that with you because my guess is you don't know how the Friday show went
No, because I was there Thursday.
because you were there Thursday and you probably haven't seen any footage or anything from Friday, but we will talk about that. Please continue.
Yeah, so I got in like 10 minutes later. It was pretty quick. And Mustard was already on. Is the reason I'm saying all of that. So I saw maybe half of Mustard's set. He
Okay.
did a great job in the rain. It was pouring raining at that point.
Okay.
But yeah, I saw the whole show. Yeah,
You did. Did you like it?
I thought it was great. I am a bigger Kendrick fan than SZA fan, even though I like them both. Um, Truth be told, they both had songs that they performed that I did not want to hear at the concert. But they also both had songs that I was very excited to hear. Because I knew the set list. The set list is out, so I knew the set list, and I did take a peek. I'll be honest, I did take a little. Let me look. So,
Is that let me ask you about this set list thing because I see that people have been posting set lists and I've been to
mhm.
concerts before. I've never thought to myself, let me look at the set list of the concert I'm going to. I I mean outside of like ending up on Concert Talk, I kind of have always treated concerts like I don't know, going to the movies where you don't really know anything. You just other than like I guess you know the music, right? So that's your preview to what's going to happen or maybe there have been music videos and that's like your preview to visuals, but other than that, I don't seek out what the concert is going to look like cuz it's a real-time experience.
Right.
Is but I'm noticing that this is a thing, right, where people will check the set
This is
list.
some new shit. Yes, this is some
But
new shit where publications, because I Googled it, and the first thing that came up was like USA Today and big publications that were saying, like, oh, here's the exact song for song set list from the Kendrick and SZA concert. So, yeah, this exists for Chris Brown, Beyonce. This is a new thing, which I think is weird. And the only reason I did it this time is because they are performing 52 songs in total. And I was like, well, what the hell are they performing? Like, it's so many songs that I was curious.
But would you have not
Also,
gone? Because I guess that's my question. If you look, even with track lists for songs we've never heard before, we want to see. Not we, not me, but I'm just saying people want to see the
people.
track list. What are
Yeah,
you
I
gonna?
don't care about the track
What are you
list.
gonna? My question to people is like, what are you gonna do with this information? Is it gonna make you not listen to the album? Is it gonna make you not attend the concert? Like what? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know the answer. It's a good question. I just was curious what they were each performing. Um, because I am a human who believes in telling the truth and in balance. So I'm not the person who just has blind loyalty and is like, oh my God, everything that SZA drops is the best thing ever. No, SZA has songs I like and I don't like. Same thing with Kendrick. Kendrick has songs I like and I don't like. And 52 songs, even though it's combined, is a lot of fucking songs. So I was
Mhm.
curious what was there and what was not there. Because I said, oh, if they're doing like some shit I'm not familiar with, I would like to go listen to those songs so I could at least be familiar when they come on,
That
right?
I
Because
understand.
52 songs is a lot of songs. So I didn't want to be there and be like, hey man, what's this song? You know this song? I don't know this song.
And
So
I do
that's
that.
why I
I do that before. What I will do before a concert is I will like in like maybe a week before I'll start listening to the person's entire catalog.
right. Or if they're doing a specific album, you listen to the album, right? But
Right.
I bought my tickets like a week before. Two, uh, I'm more familiar with Kendrick's catalog than SZA's catalog. Actually, maybe reverse. SZA only has 2 albums, 3 technically now, but I don't really know Control. I'm gonna be honest, and they're probably gonna kill me in the comments. I don't really listen to Control.
I
Control is
wasn't a
not
big
the
fan
SZA
of Control
project that
either.
I love. I really don't like Control like that. And people are gonna say I'm
I
bugging.
don't
That's
either.
fine. It's my opinion. I'm not saying it's trash. I'm saying personally, it's not my favorite. I really like SOS, and I listen to Lana a little bit too. But that's the other thing, right?
I
Like I
also
heard
think,
Lana. I heard Lana when it first came out. I have not listened to it again. So let's just say, and this is why I looked up
mhm,
the set list. Let's say she was performing all the Lana songs. I wouldn't have really known them. I'm not familiar enough with them. So that's why I looked up the set list. But I don't know why it's like a popular thing now. I am old and I was going to concerts when this wasn't a thing, and you were just excited to see what were they going to perform. That was part of the conversation when you went to a concert. Hey man, you think Jay-Z's going to do Super Ugly? No, probably not. Oh, but you think he's going to do like we know he's going to do Can't Be Life, but you think
right?
he's going to do Ola Ho Vito? Like you're just guessing, right? I'm throwing out random songs on purpose,
Yeah.
but that's the conversation which led to, oh man, wouldn't it be crazy if he did XYZ though?
Okay.
And so that was part of it. We didn't have set list, and I don't know why this is popular, but whatever. So yes, I did look up the set
It's
list.
just a weird thing to me.
Um, yeah, I think so too, but I'm guilty of it this time. I'll be honest.
Which is
Um,
fine. I'm not saying anyone shouldn't do it. I was just curious as to why people do it, because you're not, who's gonna not go to a concert because they saw the set list? Probably very few that are that would have spent their money already on a concert and then look at the set list and then decide they're not gonna go.
well, there is a case to be made for looking at the set list before you buy your ticket.
Before you buy
Example.
your ticket is one thing, but I'm just saying for somebody who was like, because we know how quickly tickets went when it first was announced, and it
Mhm.
was the tickets were first released. People were clamoring for these tickets. These are, I said the other day, this is the hottest, besides Beyonce, this is the hottest ticket in town right now.
Yeah.
Those are the two big shows that are happening right now simultaneously, and a lot of the same people you're hearing say, "Oh, 2 more weeks, I'll be back. I'll be back at MetLife in 2 more weeks for Beyonce." But
Yeah.
these are the big shows right now, so people, it wasn't like people waited till the last minute to buy their tickets. I'm sure there were some, but there were a lot of people who bought tickets prior. You waited till the last minute. Now I
I
can
did. That's why I'm
understand.
like guilty.
I can understand. Here's what I can understand. I can understand FOMO if we want to be all the way real. I could totally see where, like, let's say, because the tour started, I think, on what, April 19th, if I'm not mistaken. You see some clips. I've been seeing all the clips on TikTok. I see
Mhm.
some clips and I'm like, wow, this is a great show.
Right.
This looks pretty cool. Okay, now I want to see it, because other people have influenced me, if you will.
Yep.
And now I want to see it. I totally understand that. Totally understand that. I
Yeah,
mean, I
and I'll
think
be honest, I was on the fence until I heard 50 something songs, and I was like, whoa.
that's a
Yes, said
big
50. Yes, said 50. How many songs was that? You said 52 songs?
right.
What was that website?
Right.
Ticketmaster.com. Yeah.
Right.
All right, so the show was good.
Mhm.
Um, people know, but I'll say what happens. Kendrick does some songs, SZA does some songs. They kind of switch off, and then
Mhm.
at certain points, the transition is a song together. Not
Okay.
every time though, but the transition is a song together. So they did basically all their songs together. They have a bunch
Mhm.
throughout the concert. You get to hear all those songs. Or I should say most, because maybe I missed one or two. But I think if I'm correct, they performed all their songs that they have together. It's a great show. Unfortunately, because it was raining, we did not get to see SZA flying around like at some cities. Um,
Well, I assumed she wasn't going to be flying around, because it was it because of the rain, or was it because it was outside?
I don't know, Sam. but they didn't tell us why. But
But y'all
no
got
SZA
fireworks.
flying. We got a lot of pyrotechnics. Yes, we did. It was very interesting. Um,
I got a star in the sky.
we do, and we did, and I have footage of that. We got a star in the sky for all the stars. That was interesting.
I told you I'm tapped
Um,
in.
yeah, stars in the sky. Interesting show. SZA was wearing booty shorts the whole time, so people were excited about that. I will say this was SZA's hometown show, and so overwhelmingly, it was easy to tell that there were more SZA fans in the building than Kendrick fans. But be clear, there were plenty of Kendrick fans in the building. The building was packed. I know there's some debate about sold out versus not sold out.
Who
Yeah,
cares?
gotta stop, and I'm gonna leave it there. I think they balanced each other very well
Mm-hmm.
in two ways. One, Kendrick a rapping ass nigga. I
Yeah.
know he has hit records, but Kendrick is not only doing hit records in this show.
Mm-hmm.
So Kendrick is a rapping ass nigga. It's nice to take a break from the rapping ass nigga and
Mm-hmm.
hear some singing, see some dancing, etc. So it's nice to sonically kind of balance, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and then the same is true with energy, right? Kendrick is like dissing Drake and performing his big records and all this
Mm-hmm.
stuff, and then you know uh, he's got different things he's doing, and then
Yeah.
here comes SZA with a whole different energy of like softer energy, or the opposite. Sometimes Kendrick is kind of like performing something that's not a hit, for example, just like a record that he's really into, I guess is the way to say it. Like he did Reincarnated, which I loved,
Mm-hmm.
but Reincarnated is not like a hit record everybody might know, right? And then
Yeah.
so after that, it's kind of like, oh, but that wasn't really my favorite record. For some people, I'm giving an example, right? But then here comes SZA with a whole different energy. She comes out and she's dancing and singing and smiling and getting the crowd hype in a different way. So I thought it was a great way to balance energy and sound. Because it kind of gives you something else to look forward to. It's never a dull moment is what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because even when one of them was performing songs I didn't really care for, you knew, all right, but it don't even matter because the other one about to come out,
Yeah.
right? So I thought it was good, and then they each have their own videos, which those are online, and we even spoke about one a while ago, and I recorded it. Uh, when Kendrick is talking about ordering the Louisiana chicken and all of that stuff,
Yeah.
and then like taking stabs at Drake or whatever, shots at Drake, whatever you want to call it. Those videos are there, and then the SZA has her own deposition type videos, but then there's also this theme throughout throughout the show of them videos with them two together, um, and like their unification, I guess is the way to say it. Um,
So they were able to successfully in would you say, I guess it's a question.
mhm.
Do you feel like they were able to successfully meld the two together so that you felt like you were at one show as opposed to like two separate shows?
Yeah, it did because the way the pattern happens, you kind of end up looking forward for the next thing. And again, it's never a dull moment because even if you're like, oh, SZA's singing like some really slow songs right now, which I think she did a great job of balancing. You know, SZA has a wide range of sound. I
Yeah.
think even the way she performed, she did a great job of balancing. But even if you feel like, oh, these two songs were kind of slow, then it comes Kendrick with some high energy shit, and you're like, oh, nobody gave for me, nobody gave for me, yeah, you know. So
Yes.
yeah,
Um, okay. That's this. I mean, it sounds like it was a good show.
it was a good show. People left happy. And after Mustard, it stopped raining shortly after, so it wasn't like
Oh,
we were
that's good.
standing in the rain the entire concert. Yeah, I was thankful for that.
Yeah. I, you know, it was a little touch and go. I remember
And
looking
man,
at the weather thinking,
he performed some songs that I did not expect him to. The thing is, even though the set list was out, I knew some songs he was performing in full and some songs he
Yeah.
was not, but I didn't know which songs that was. I didn't
Right.
investigate that much, right? I just saw the set list and was like, all right, this is cool. So I'll be honest, like Euphoria is 6.5 minutes. I did not think Kendrick was gonna perform the full Euphoria. But he damn sure did.
That's dope. That's
He
dope.
damn sure did. So it was really interesting that too. Like there were some songs people did a snippet of, other songs were done in their entirety, and that was interesting too to see the way they did that.
Okay.
So what happened Friday?
Well, first let me start out by saying that someone I was talking to someone yesterday, and they told me that they feel like, you know, there's this idea that you go to the first show because the first show is probably going to be the best show. You know, they come into a new city, they got that energy going, whatever the case may be. I'm just sharing. You don't have to agree or disagree. I mean, if you do, cool. But I'm just telling you what my conversation was. So, and the reason they said that is because they said over the last couple of years there's been multiple shows that they've gone to and they've tried to go like night one or whatever, and they always end up finding out that night two or whatever the last show is usually the best show out of all of them. And and then they also said that they had a show that they went to where it was a night two, and night two was seemingly better than night one.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I think night two, especially if it's like Thursday, Friday, you would expect Friday is the turn up, get crazy show.
Well, and just based off of like business, night two was more expensive. I don't know if it matters. I imagine it does matter to them. The venue, the artists, promoters, whatnot. It probably does matter to them that people paid more for night two. And I don't know what it was when it first started. I just know a few days before when I looked at both nights, I was like, oh my gosh, Friday? Y'all can keep Friday.
Friday was like, and yeah,
Friday was through the roof. Friday was basically double what Thursday was. Like, who? First of all, hello, how do y'all even have seats for Friday? Because I would imagine a lot of people wanted to do Friday because it's the end of the week. But no. So anyway, I started seeing these videos, and I'm like, wait, I know multiple people that went on Thursday, including you. And I've talked to my people, so I know how they said the show went, and everybody said the show was great. Don't get me wrong, everybody said the show was great, but I was like, how come nobody mentioned these things to me? It's because it didn't happen on Thursday. SZA brought out K Tronada.
yeah, that didn't happen Thursday.
SZA brought out K Tronada. Kendrick brought out Baby Keem.
Yeah, no, that didn't happen Thursday.
Apparently, this is the first time anyone's seen Baby Keem perform since 2023.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I was like, now why y'all do that? It was only two nights. It wasn't like on night five you found these people from somewhere. Why y'all didn't give the people on Thursday Baby Keem and K Tronada?
I'm cool that they didn't.
I know that's probably not your forte, and that's fine. I'm not saying it to get on you or dig at you in any way in your experience, but I'm asking, I'm talking to Kendrick and SZA.
Right.
Why y'all did that? It was two nights.
Yeah,
Neither of them were available night one.
I guess not. They saw that
And,
raid and was like, nah, player, I'm good.
and SZA, you're at home. SZA,
Scissors.
why you didn't give the people Catron out of two nights in a row? What happened there?
I don't know.
I feel a way about that. And I didn't even go to the concert, but I just feel like why y'all did that?
I'm fine with it.
It's okay. I get that you're fine with it, but some people are not fine with it.
Yeah, and I can understand that too.
It was two nights. I could understand. Beyonce about to be here for a whole week. I'm sure she's gonna do a lot of random things between the first show and the last show. But again, she's gonna be here for a whole week. She's performing.
But
I
that
think
happens.
five,
Like when
five nights.
Usher was in New York, he didn't bring the same person out every night.
I'm not saying it has to be the same person, but did y'all get any guests, special guests?
The Rain.
That's what I'm trying to say. What happened? Who was supposed to book somebody for Thursday and didn't? Who's getting fired?
Nah, no fire anybody.
Y'all are lucky. Y'all are lucky. And by y'all I mean Live Nation or whoever you are. Y'all are lucky that Kendrick and Sza knew what to do. Because people walked away from it thinking it was great and it was amazing. But on Saturday morning, people were like, well, that would have been a nice to have.
I guess.
You're saying you guess, but I guess I guess what I'm trying to say is it's the principle of the thing. It's like, man, that sucks. For the people who it matters to. I'm not saying it matters to you. I'm just saying it mattered to some people. I saw the reactions. People were like, wait, this was last night
Right.
at MetLife that I was just at less than 48 hours ago. Yeah, so that's the only reason I brought it up, because I even brought it up to somebody and I was like, did you see how night 2 went? And they were like, yeah, would have been nice to be there for that. But I don't know.
Gotcha.
Sounds like regardless, it was a great show.
Yep. And funny enough, they both performed records that Drake is on, and they did it without Drake.
Yes, and
I thought that was really funny. I thought that was
it
so
is
funny.
funny.
Maybe nobody cares, but I think that's hilarious.
People care because that was the
Because
running joke at the beginning of the tour,
okay,
that they
yeah,
were
because when he
performing
did
songs.
Poetic Justice, I was like, all right, and she definitely did.
Rich Baby
Bend that
Daddy.
ass over. Let that coochie breathe. Yep,
Hands on your knees. I hate Sexy Red.
definitely did it. Sexy Red also was not there. Don't worry. But since then, the dancers were there.
And that's really all you need. You don't need Sexy Red to show up.
That's it.
Somebody asked me the other day why I don't like Sexy Red. I said, do I have to have a reason? I have some. But do I have to?
When I see you standing next to Sexy Red, I believe you see two bad bitches. Let me tell you something. I know my daughter is probably pissed off because yesterday I was getting ready to go out. I played Euphoria probably 12 times. That's a long ass record to play 12 times.
Yes.
Oh man. I know she was probably like, this nigga here, man. Well, I was
She have no headphones because I can totally see the kids being like,
she didn't she does have headphones, but she didn't put them on. But she probably was like, this
okay.
nigga is ODing.
Well, the first time you did it, it was probably fine. Maybe the first 2 times it was
Because
fine.
after seeing Euphoria live, I'm like, definitely song of the week. Like,
Yep.
definitely song of the week. Oh, and
Okay, well, I can't wait.
the transition from the second half of TV Off into Not Like Us, that was special.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know why he splits up TV Off, but he does TV Off the first half early in the show, and then towards the end of the show, he comes out. Buster.
I mean, you gotta keep the people wanting more.
Sure, but it's great. It goes from that directly into Not Like Us.
Smart.
Yeah, that was fly.
Okay. All right. Any last words?
Nope. Worth every penny.
Worth every penny. So the people should go and buy their last minute tickets.
If they're Kendrick and Sza fans, yeah.
Well, duh. I'm just saying, people who are considering it right now, they should do it. You recommend it, is what I'm asking.
Yeah, no, it was a good show.
Okay.
Wait, was this the show that people were saying this was in their top five shows? Remember we
Yes.
spoke about that the other day? Yeah, I think they just went to five shows. I stand on that. I double down. Good
Okay.
show, but one of the best five shows I've ever seen. You probably just went to five shows, or maybe six. Maybe you only went to six shows. You know?
So it is not in your top five.
No, good
Okay.
concert, but not in the top five concert. I mean, maybe because of the people I've seen, but
I was just about
no.
to say, also, if you've been to a large amount of concerts, it's kind of difficult. Whenever you talk to people who have been to bunches and bunches of concerts, it, sometimes I find that they even say, because usually those people have seen certain artists multiple times, and
Yep.
I find that those people normally feel like it's a particular artist that does the best, that is like in their top, or it's kind of a mixed bag. Like, it's not always as simple as, oh, these are my top five shows.
Right. Because even your artists could do different shows. Like I saw J. Cole multiple times. That's why I married J. Blige multiple times. I saw Nas multiple times. And each of those concerts, I don't think they don't necessarily just compare equally to each other.
Right.
Right. So like when I saw Nas the first time versus the second time, it was a very different show.
Mhm.
So even saying like, oh, I saw Nas and that's in my top five, even though a big Nas fan, it doesn't really matter because the shows were so different when I saw them
Yeah.
that it would be hard to even compare those two shows. Also because I think where that person is at in their career matters as well. And venues. Like I think the best shows are the tiny intimate shows.
I agree.
This stadium shit was super fly.
Hmm.
You know, the pyrotechnics, the star in the sky. All right, yeah, that's cool. But the intimate shows, but it's like 100 people only. Those be the shows I think are like the best ones. But you're not going to see Kendrick at that kind of show, for example. You know what I mean? Like you'd have had to saw Kendrick in
Years
2011
ago.
to see him
Yeah.
in that kind of show. So it's
Yeah.
like there's a lot of things that go into your top five, and that's why I said like people saying this in their top five, they probably don't go to a ton of shows.
Agreed.
Um,
And
and
it's
and that's not to
also
say
a
that the
matter of
show sucked.
opinion.
It was a really good show. I
Hmm.
just think like, man, I'm 40. Like I gone to quite a few concerts in my day. It's just not just going to easily jump into the top five.
Also, I this didn't come up, but I think region matters. I think sometimes where you see a show matters.
Oh yeah,
Um,
like when Kendrick goes to LA, it's probably going to be
right. And I don't want to
absolute
say that
pandemonium.
person probably went to the LA show. Um,
LA show
but
didn't happen yet.
then when where am I thinking of? Then I'm wrong, sorry.
No, it's
But
okay. But the LA show didn't happen yet.
you know who I'm thinking of? LA show? I think Beyonce did LA already.
Ah, okay.
Their venues are kind of flipped.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Um she's also, we could talk about Beyonce another day, but yeah, cuz I think she's doing some interesting things with her tour that we should talk about here, but um just about her, the dates she picked, the venues she picked, there's meaning behind it apparently that she doesn't ever really say explicitly, but
But the
we'll talk.
Beehive figured it out.
The Beehive figured it out, and it's actually pretty meaningful. So, but we can talk about that another time. But that's what I was thinking of. I was thinking of Beyonce did LA already. Yeah. So then I don't know where that person. I don't know where that person saw the show, but I think it matters where you are.
Yeah.
Like you said, SZA. I'm sure SZA made sure she gave New Jersey her all because that's her
Mhm.
hometown. Like you want to go to your hometown and put on a great show. That doesn't
Yeah,
mean that.
and I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's I was gonna say what I was gonna say doesn't matter. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, and And yeah, it does because artists want to do different things when they're at home. Like I remember if you watch J. Cole when he did the 2014 Forest Hill Drive tour, they filmed it. It was like on HBO. I don't know if it's still up there, but it was up
Mm-hmm.
there. And that final tour, you only see a snippet in the documentary or the film, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
But he brought Drake to North Carolina. They wasn't seeing Drake, and he Jay-Z came out and performed. Like Drake and Jay-Z were at the same show in North Carolina. That's not regular. Like
No.
so, yeah, totally. You're right. That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, I think region matters. I've said it before here that I've seen Chris
Mhm.
Brown in New York and I've seen Chris Brown in Philadelphia, and I would never go see Chris Brown in Philadelphia ever again in my life. Terrible crowd.
Oh man.
I also
Yep.
probably will never see Chris Brown again, but another story for another day. So,
Yep.
thank you for giving us your review. Um,
Anytime.
If y'all have anything to add, please put it in the comments. If you went to another city, if it was your top five or if it wasn't your top five, put it in the comments. Let us know. I'm not remembering our first topic right now, but you can put the whatever you have to say
The
about that
Golden
in the
Globes and
comments. The
podcasting.
Golden Globes. Tell us what you think about podcasts being added to the Golden Globes. And yeah, and we will see you guys tomorrow.